Well, good to be back, everyone. Welcome to another Card Authority. I'm AJ. This is AJ. This is sound still on my phone. That's no good. Well, always good to have a little bit of fun at the start of the show.
Yeah,
Jenks, how are you? How's your week?
Good. I really enjoyed the Pelican image, the holding Pelican image.
You were very proud of yourself when you first showed me that image.
Yeah. We do try and search for a good photo for our promo post every week, and I thought that the Pelican with the man at the park hugging the Pelican is very representative at the moment of
us embracing the community.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a real embrace. I really love it. I love it. G'day, everyone. Welcome on board. Here they all come flooding in.
Flying in.
Ribbler, Daniel, Mr. Buchanan, Danny the Big Squid, Robert Jack. Hello, sir. Is the young man listening in tonight, Robert, or he's in bed already?
Jonathan, Hayden, Wado, Jacob. Oh, everyone's
Mr. Costello.
Yep, Crispy.
And Hayden
just jumped in
Hayden,
as well.
We've got first in with the comment.
How much for the Card Authority light? Priceless, Daniel. Yeah. Priceless.
Yeah, there's a ripper behind me. I'll lean back. Look at that one. Look at that one too. There you go. Just for you. All right, guys, let's get it underway. AJ.
Well, it's been a big week. Obviously, Prestige 2021 landed on everyone's doorsteps. There's nothing better than a new release. I mean, obviously, we talked about how well it was executed, the sales process. It felt like everyone got the stock. Now the stock has arrived. When we did our little mini video opening, I don't think we've done another show.
So I don't know. So we haven't done anything. I think we did our opening, but we haven't actually done a show since the cards came out.
Yep.
Since it all became available.
So obviously we were super excited. We got our box just like everyone else before we even got stock here at the shop.
Yeah.
We'd already sort of flagged that we thought the blues were going to go awesome. Obviously I'm always after dusty cards, all that kind of stuff. How was your initial take on the product? What did you think of it?
I love it. I thought it was obviously a really strong follow-up to the first edition of Prestige that came out in 2020. It was a series which I loved, and I really enjoyed the chase of that series because of all the numbered cards. The excitement of so many numbered cards in so many subsets within a series. So I was excited. I was hyped. $140 RRP product with what comes out of those boxes. It's just an incredible thing. And we talked it up beforehand, and it absolutely delivered. The new additions to it, I think the blue is an amazing addition, the blue parallel. I thought the Clearance Kings are a really hot card and a much better replacement of the engine rooms from last year. To be honest, I prefer the vote leaders from last year the vote getters from last year as opposed to the vote leaders from this year. A lot of people probably disagree with that, but that's just a personal thing for me. The marquees are obviously a beautiful card, and you and I have discussed previously, I rate the marquees over showstoppers. I just really like the aesthetic of the marquee, and I think they very much have the influential factor. And I think when that first influential came out in 2017, it's something that really stood high up for most collectors all the way until last year when they brought the influentials back again. So to me, the marquees are amazing. And then obviously for me at a personal level, for being a St Kilda collector and a big Jack Steele man, having Jack Steele on that card for me is the first number to 40 card for Jack Steele.
Which is huge,
so it's ultimately a very, very exciting card and stoked with it.
And I flagged early on that I like the marquee. Look, it's no secret. I love the footy's finest. That pearl finish, the fact that they've been able to shift that across and do that in another card. Sorry, excuse me, hiccups. I think is amazing. The borders, they make the card just look, instead of thinking that it's going to be restrictive to the space, it actually makes the card really look solid and big and things like that. I can see Jim Bob. I like the showstoppers too, Jim. I'm very fond of the
Maybe just chuck up Jace's one quickly, because we talked about this pre-release off the previews with respect to the game breakers. So I feel like Jace, really great point you make and agree with you, but I'll just go into it a little bit here is when Footy Stars first came out a couple of months ago and we started pulling those game breakers out of the first packets, the Series 1, I think there was a general consensus, or certainly on our end and my end personally, that they were a level up of insert for a Series 1 product. And we all got very excited for that to come effectively as a souped up version in Prestige.
Yep.
When we saw the checklist announced and that it was coming out and everything, it was, wow, this is awesome. They are actually doing it. They're bringing that card into Prestige.
Yep.
But then we discovered it was unnumbered and it was very disappointing. And unfortunately, like with respect to that card, I love those Game Breaker cards. I think they're awesome cards. The fact that they didn't end up being numbered cards massively detracted from me collecting them. And I think I said on the previous episode before release, I certainly bulk collect a lot of different types of cards, and had they been numbered, I would do pages and pages and pages of them.
Yep.
But because they're not, I'm content with just one of each for my master set.
Yeah, and I think, look, you know, we probably, when we were hoping they were going to be numbered, we certainly didn't know they were going to be bringing out multiple parallels or the new Clearance King or whatever it is, you know what I mean? So, you know, we've discussed on obviously previous episodes and also with people that have come into the shop that the numbering on them would have been fantastic, but let's keep it in perspective.
Yeah.
Let's compare a foil Game Breaker versus a zebra.
Oh, yeah.
I know which one I'm taking every day of the week, let alone a blue die card or whatever it is.
So it's funny, I actually didn't mind the zebra die cards. I didn't like the blues.
Don't tell me you like jigsaws.
I definitely don't like the jigsaws. They're good fillers. They were good to fill out people's mail. But yeah, no, I was actually a fan of the zebras. I thought the zebras were good, but I totally agree with you. The Game Breaker is a far superior card to what the zebra is, especially in terms of from a hobby standpoint versus a children's sort of standpoint. I feel like die cut cards are probably more directed at kids, or maybe not directed at kids, but they're more attractive to younger people.
Yeah, look, you know, I'm sure that, you know, there's always been something that could have been, you know, you can always keep improving, and hopefully Select takes on board that sort of feedback. But I guess we don't want to, and Hayden's sort of saying they would have been numbered to 750.
Agree with that, Hayden. Yeah, we were talking a couple of weeks ago and we thought, they've got to be numbered somewhere probably in the 400 to 800 range.
Yep.
But we also agreed, I think we agreed that even at that level, Select has previously had cards numbered to that sort of level, and it didn't seem to be an issue. So, and here's the thing.
Have they gone to 700?
Yeah, they've gone high. Yeah, they've gone to like 800. And even like lots of those Herald Sun cards were numbered to those sorts of numberings.
You know, straight away I think of like Certified 460.
Yeah, so...
And I admit...
Prior, they had cards like 6, 7, 800. I'm sure someone that's tuning in will remember.
But I mean, like, you like saying you like going on the number chase. Personally, Certified 460, knowing that you were pulling numbers out, it felt like when we were breaking that product 6 months ago, every number was 385, 291.
Absolutely, but then
so that defeats the purpose, doesn't it?
Then I think the allure of the low number all of a sudden becomes a big deal as well. You know,
yeah, that's fair.
You know, for those who are interested in that sort of stuff, or specific numbers, low numbers, etc. Yeah.
I'm just going to touch on this. Christian said, "Red or orange?" The hardest question. Now, some people like messaged me about this a couple of days ago. Now, we would never ask Minx, who works here at RGV, because he, you know,
he's colorblind.
He's colorblind.
Yeah.
So they're all.
They can't tell the difference between the blue, the red, the orange.
And we love it, and we say it all with love. But what I think the interesting thing is that, the interesting thing is that we obviously see that it says red on the back of the packet. It says orange on the checklist. It says orange on the website, and they are numbered differently to what the reds are. So my gut feeling is that it is an orange, but you know, you don't need to be colorblind to probably think that it's probably red. So interesting stuff. I think it's orange. I think if we ask Select, they would say it's probably orange. But we can probably all happily agree that maybe it's blood orange. maybe something like that. I don't know. Glenn, it could both. But look, really good release. I, absolutely love the blues. I think the blues have come out in just an amazing. Yeah, blood orange. That's right, Paul. Spot on.
G'day, Solly.
I think the blues were certainly the big sleeper for me. I thought opening them in hand, they looked amazing. They really pop. The colors really work off really nicely off them. They will be interesting to see how they hold in price.
Yep.
And we'll talk a little bit about pricing. Glenn actually asked us a question last night, so we'll follow that up a little bit later on. But looking at the Blues and the number that they are and the pricing they are, I think they are an amazing card. And if I probably had more time on my hands, I would have definitely looked to chase
the full set. And I think there's probably some sleepers out there that are doing the full set of Blues as well.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure we'll see some photos in a few weeks or months' time pop up with people who have done those full sets.
Yeah, and it seems to be like the general feeling in the comments too, that the Blues
They're definitely the best looking card, no
Yep.
doubt about it. But again,
Yep.
you can't go past the fact that there is a full parallel set of greens numbered to 60.
Absolutely.
Cards numbered to 60, it's a perfect numbering that will ultimately should stand the test of time in terms of value and long-term holding, firm.
All right, well,
holding.
let's touch on the valuing side of it a little bit. We've talked in depth before the Brownlow vote getters from last year, which are numbered to 80,
Yeah.
and in turn this year the Brownlow vote leaders.
Yeah.
How is it a card numbered to 80, which is effectively the same as a footy's finest, are so undervalued by the market?
They're quite simply that. They're undervalued in the market because, I don't know, I think when releases come out, people have very clear, almost tunnel vision towards what the things that they really want, I suppose. And cards like that probably tend to get neglected when you've got things that are at 60 and things are at 40, and then you've got things way out in the higher number spectrum as well. It's almost like the card number to 80 gets lost. But, long term, and I've said it last year as well, they're massively undervalued. There's only 80 of them out there. Now, star players. So numbering comparable to footy's finest, yes, there's a counter argument that if footy's finest was a case hit, there was only one player per team represented, whereas these are 4 per team and they're a box hit. But at the end of the day, each individual player, or 3 per team, each individual player, there's only 80 of that particular card. So just like a footy's finest and anything else, there's only 80 of that particular card. So albeit it might be easier to hit one of them than it is to hit a footy's finest, it should, in theory, have a similar value in the long term based on just purely the numbering and the amount of team set collectors and master set collectors there are over time.
Absolutely. And the star players that are mentioned in those Brownlow vote leaders, like, putting Dusty aside for a second, obviously he's always going to be a card that is valued high, but whether it's Dangerfield or Fife or Steele or any of those guys, you're generally getting the star players from that previous year. It's crazy some of the prices I'm seeing them at, like $30, $40, $50. I mean, it feels like those cards need to be $100 or a $200 card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to even put that up if you like for a second?
Yeah, look.
And I'll let you talk about it, but I might just say something quickly on it as well.
Well, I don't really want to give this Pelican.
No, that's all right.
Yeah.
So we'll just give everyone a heads up out here. So we've just thrown a comment up on the screen here. Yeah. So we'll let you know in advance. This is a fake account. Yeah. This is a fake burner account from a troll.
But we'll touch on it.
And we'll talk about it. But I'll just let you know in advance that this particular person that resides on Facebook is a bit of a representation of some of the, probably we'll call it just maybe the Facebook.
Anyway, no, whatever.
Some people out there, but let's make no mistake, it is a burner account. It is a fake account. But we'll address it.
Deal with it and we'll get it off the screen because it doesn't deserve the airtime. Are you going to address what the issue with select retailers losing wholesale because RGV decided to break the rules? Now, I'm going to remove it because the guy doesn't deserve any airtime. But I'll quite simply answer this, and not that I need to talk too much about our commercial arrangements, but RGV and all the select authorized retailers didn't break any rules whatsoever. We received our stock. We have not been reprimanded or told off or broken rules or any of that kind of stuff. All right, we're back there. Sorry, that was an annoying time to freeze. Yeah, and there was this.
You're going to have to go back to
where
we were. Let's just start from scratch here.
Yeah, so there was a narrative there that RGB had broken the rules and that we were selling it before release day. Well, it's actually not true at all. So we obviously talk to Select as all the other retailers do, and most of us all got our stock on Friday. We were allowed to sell it, we were allowed to break it, we were able to do whatever we want with it, as all the other resellers were doing as well. So, I don't really want to give too much airtime to, I guess, these keyboard warriors that are, going around and creating false narratives. But
hiding behind fake accounts, trying to create a narrative for whatever their purpose is. But
we certainly did nothing wrong. We've had no issues with Select, and none of the other resellers have had issues with Select. We continue to provide the product to the consumers, both at a retail level and an online level. And then, Select, changing to moving all the distribution through Wang. The communication that we've been advised is that it's just business as usual. Like, we were all talking to Wang now. I believe
for those that don't know, so Wang is Steve Wang, who is JHL Distribution, who is the long-term distributor of Select and always has been. And as we clarified in the previous episode, there was no difference to the distribution that was taking place for this series than any other one before. JHL was still distributing to their customers, and Select was also doing some distribution as well. What seems to have happened is Select has decided, after putting that into practice, that logistically it's probably a much better idea to do it all out of a singular source. And have shown loyalty to Steve Wang.
And look, it's business as usual for us. We're speaking to Wang. We will still get stock. No one has lost stock allocation as far as I know. We don't talk to every reseller. Anyone that was getting stock before the announcement, during this release, and now after the announcement, nothing has changed. So look, Taylor, I appreciate your comment. Yes, other people were selling it on Friday. Plenty of people had it off sale on Friday. I really don't, feel like I need to respond anymore to your comments. You're just purely trying to set a false rhetoric. And anyway, I want to move on and talk about the actual good things. But,
absolutely,
we've always been incredibly transparent. I don't feel I need to defend me, you.
We continue to be transparent.
But anyway, but look, as I said, Select retailers were selling it. So anyway, do a bit of fact checking. But I will say, one thing I will say, some of the messages of abuse that we received privately on Friday and over the weekend, all I'll say is it was disgusting. And some of you guys really, I don't even want to give it airtime, but Christ, we're in a card community. I can't believe some of you speak to us or other resellers the same way. Really disgusting. It's actually pretty pathetic. But anyway, I want to move on. So the release was a huge success. I know, certainly speaking to the other people, whether it be Cherry or other businesses, other breakers, they have absolutely been cleared out of stock. We were sold out by Monday, first thing Monday morning. We still were selling packets last week.
Obviously, there was people that did pre-orders with us and RRP through the website, and that's the thing. And happy to clarify that point as well. Obviously, that all stock, all boxes that were sold either online or through our store at RGB, from what we had available, was all at $140 or $140 plus shipping. So contrary to what anyone may happen to say out there, and I feel like Cherry did the exact same thing, EJ's did the exact same thing, Sports Card World had them,
because we were all allowed to.
And that's right, and we all were allowed to, and everyone seemed to do the right thing. Now, if there's other retailers out there selling the product for more, that's their prerogative.
Absolutely.
That's up to them, and it's up to the customers to decide if they want to buy it or not. Just like everything else, people have the freedom to do what they want with their product. If they want to buy it, if they want to sell it, whatever it may be, that is up to them entirely. It's their prerogative.
But I can't say it any clearer. No rules were broken by us or any of the other resellers. We all had permission to sell it on Friday. That's why we got the stock on Friday. So again, whatever, fake news, that whoever that person is that's sprouting it, good luck to them. So let's talk a little bit about pricing of the cards. So we've obviously seen things, as always, come out of the gate really hot. The greens, the reds, the clearance kings. I've noticed some of those for the star players came out super hot and super expensive. Where do you think, let's start with the clearance kings. they feel like there are better cards of what the Engine Room were last year.
Quality looking card. I think
Do you think they hold their price of where they are this sort of $30 to $100 range?
They might hold a bit better because aesthetically they look better. So as a result of that, I think, I think that it's more people will collect it as a subset, and as a result, it then holds its value more.
Yep. So do you think that, I know obviously there's been some, and we'll talk about some O1s and jumper numbers and stuff like that a little bit later on, but, do you think that pricing stands firm over time? Like, I certainly don't want to call any cards out.
Okay, so what all we can do here is some critical analysis, basically, based on historically what's happened, and we can look at what's happened last year, basically, right? Yeah. It's fair to say, what are we, 10 days into it?
Yeah, Jacob, that's a good point. The Engine Room does look less appealing now than the clearance gear.
Correct, agree with that. Yeah. But here's the thing. So based on the data, and again, like as anyone who's been with us for a while here knows, we do a lot of data measurement and we look at a lot of data points within what's taking place, both at a buying and selling level, at a transactional level, but also at like a sentiment level. And the reality is at the moment is we're 10 days into release or something like that, almost 2 weeks into release, the card values are already holding up significantly stronger across the board than what they did for Prestige last year, but against pretty much most other series over the last few years as well. Yeah. And why that's happening is for a number of reasons, but I think the single biggest contributing factor right now is the ongoing week-on-week growth or day-on-day growth within the hobby at the moment. Yep. And fortunately for us, we're involved in community pages and as well as various businesses, so we get a really good gauge about who these people are, where they're coming in, how they're coming in, and the volume of them. And we are seeing an influx in the last 14 days that, if we measure it just on its 14 days, it's the biggest influx AFL cards have ever seen before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Measured against all the previous data we have, which is only from the last couple of years. But I can tell you definitively, the last 14 days, the new participation rate of new entry of new people coming in, whether they're collectors, flippers, speculators, investors, but a lot of them are collectors, that's the thing.
Yep.
It is the biggest 14-day period for new participation in AFL cards in modern times.
Yep.
So anyone that's out there saying the hobby's dying, it's falling apart, anything like this, well, the data disagrees with you, and we're seeing that reflected at price levels right now as well. Yep. And the other thing we haven't seen take place yet, or we're seeing it a little bit, we haven't seen it, let's say, take place to the same extent as we would expect, is dumping. Stock dumping and price dumping, which would ordinarily happen, people get a set done, and that they start to dump off excess stock to get money back, to recoup. But what's happening now is all these new people who are involved create a higher demand and more pressure on individual teams and individual cards.
And it's funny you say that, and I wanted to talk about that because Select have moved to this model now where there's multiple, there is, without far, on release day, more people physically had stock in their hands because they were getting 4 boxes or whatever it is. I know, Gat, I do owe you lunch, but you told me you were going to come down here. And I'll buy you lunch. It seemed like, and I feared that because there were so many people that had stock that there would be this quicker dump off. But I think it's actually the other way around. We talked a little bit about this off air, that the amount of trades that are happening, people that say trading is dead.
It's incredible.
Trading, I have seen, it is so much stronger than it ever has been. Like,
well, it's insane. Like, from the day people started receiving stock all the way through until today, I think we said today we think the post volume has slowed a bit today.
Yeah.
But it was pretty much all the way up until yesterday, the absolute volume of posts on Facebook, which are a reflection of the broader community, of the trades taking place and the transactions, the buys and sells, was just incredible. Like,
absolutely,
it's a phenomenal number. We were looking at our own insights the other day from Really Good Vibes, and the 28-day increase, you get a 28-day measurement on total interactions, was up 860%.
Yeah, which is
860%.
Huge number.
When you're looking at that in graph form, it's like this. It's moving up, and then it's just like it's crazy. Like, again, it just shows not only are there all these people involved, but all these people passionately involved.
Absolutely, and Jacob's just said that as well. Trades with the release have been the best, easiest across 12 months. And I think that's because the product was so accessible and people were happy to do like-for-like trades.
Well, that's the thing, because you're paying the 140 price point for the most part.
Yeah.
You can do it's almost your psychological evaluation of a card is no longer what it was, whereby, okay, you might let go of a Collingwood card or a Hawthorn card to get a middle tier team card for your own team, because you didn't outlay the huge amount of money to
I
begin
traded
with.
more in a day than I did in 2 years. Yeah. That's crazy.
Love it.
Yeah, that's really good.
Love it.
Yeah. And look, this is a good comment from Squid. I don't know if it'll show it all. The fact that I know where the majority of the O1s and jumper numbers are for cards I collect says a lot about the amount of product being opened and sharing the hits on social media.
And is it fair to say that it's our assessment, and we've said it before, that everything Select has been doing for the last 6 to 9 months seems to be pivoting towards the mantra of, we want our cards in the hands of people.
Yep.
We don't want stock sitting pelletized or in warehouses or in garages or bedrooms sealed for the next decade. We want people to get the cards in hand.
Robbie, I've never found it easier or more pleasurable trading this series, largely through really good vibes community, amazing community of people. And I think, look, above and beyond good vibes, trading communities all over.
It's the broad spectrum.
It's been so strong.
Yeah, it's a broad spectrum. And anyone who administrates a page would be seeing that across the board right now.
But I've also noticed with breaks too, that not only where we are at RGB breaks, but at other places, people are a lot more happy to trade to get PC teams.
Yep.
We get messages all the time of someone saying, blah, blah, hit this card, can you please put it in their envelope?
Yeah.
Because whether it's a sale or a trade or whatever, there seems to be this real desire and need to help people get their cards.
Yeah.
And Pete Buchanan, who has just made a good comment there about the dump, eBay dumper cards seemed a lot bigger and intense last year.
Absolutely.
And it's no secret, we've talked that we thought last year when people were getting cases on Afterpay, there was that need in 30 days to get
your money back quickly.
People probably couldn't afford to spend $1,000.
So maybe the restriction of 4 boxes actually means people didn't stretch the credit limit.
Yep.
And it's more reasonable to say, okay, well, I've outlaid, was it $560 or whatever it is for your 4 boxes. I can out $560. I'm almost going to get enough hits here to complete half a set or something like that.
Yep.
So all of a sudden, a chase that would ordinarily for a high quality product cost you thousands for a team set.
Yeah.
A lot of people are probably getting team sets done for like $1,000 on this series, or $1,000 to $2,000.
Wow.
You know, well, not Richmond collectors such as you can get one dusty red for $5,000.
And Lee received 14 post items today. Fair Maldo. That's awesome. And James walks into the office, a lot of mornings with a whole stack of things that he's been trading and buying, and he's always digging through my box to try to get Richmond cards to do trades.
Yeah, and here's the thing: it's no surprise, and it's certainly not new news. I am about 10% of the way of where I was last year in terms of my collecting, and I had to make an adjustment 3 days ago and just acknowledge that the community has grown so big now. It's become even competitive for my team's cards, and as a result, I can't collect in the same style. So I've switched up my parameters a little bit, and that's fine.
But there seems to be certainly, and again, I've not been in, the game as long as you have, but last year it felt like there was 1 or 2 main collectors from each team. This year, it feels like there's a handful of people that collect St Kilda or Hawthorn or Richmond or Sydney or whatever it might be. So there's more people trying to chase, whether it's specific numbers or actually just cards to get that.
Absolutely. And I think, that can obviously as well, like I can understand the frustration of some older, more established collectors who are now finding it difficult because they're battling against more people for cards. And they're also battling against increased card budgets that people tend to have as well.
Of course.
And I can certainly appreciate that. But I also think, we all need to acknowledge, like, as with everything in life and in the world, it all evolves, and we're going through a really fast-paced evolution at the moment. But anyone who was collecting prior to, say, 12, 18 months ago, as we've said before as well, their cards and their collections are worth a significant amount more, and they'll be able to look back retrospectively and say, wow, wasn't it amazing when I picked up that card for 100 or 200 or whatever it is? You know, for me, even like what's gone on with Saints cards in the last 12 months, like from where the cost of them now to where they were a year ago, it's amazing.
Absolutely. And look, appreciate that, Glenn. Yeah, look, you know, obviously, Glenn, you've come into the shop a couple of times. You know, you've recently refound the hobby again, and you find it, you know, a lot of fun, which is what.
Yeah,
this is exactly the experience that we've got to, you know.
Legend Glenn. Glenn is a new customer of ours in the shop side of things that turned up one day and now he comes back every few days and we trade. We do like for like trades and stuff, and it's awesome. Glenn keeps busting boxes. Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's great fun. Glenn, I know you're in WA. I hope you received our mail from us. But look, you know, I think Crispy said something earlier on. This is one of the first releases where Select did mail, and it actually landed on Monday for people that picked express postage, and then they actually got it on release.
Got on release day.
And I mean, it's not perfect for everyone. Jumps it. I understand that not everyone has you know, didn't work out for everyone. But the fact that some people actually got mail in South Australia on a Friday and then mail in Western Australia on the Monday. I mean,
and I know some people definitely in WA didn't get it till Tuesday, possibly even Wednesday, depending on their, you know, where they were geographically located. Yep. But even still, I feel like that is a huge step forward from 12 months ago, where they would be waiting an extra week potentially for it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
I feel like Select is listening. They are listening in to what people are saying. They're reading the feedback. They're online. There's no doubt about it. They're taking on the feedback and they're trying to make those adjustments to their business. And I think as much as we can continue to be critical of certain aspects, we also do need to acknowledge that they are trying to get better at these things, and they're working with a supply chain and a logistics supply chain where they're at the mercy of the environment around them.
And Christian, could we do a live trade on Card Authority on
there you go,
006? Look,
if you can get it done during the episode, we support it.
Yeah, we probably won't put them on screen, otherwise it could just open an absolute love fest. And look, I'm getting heaps of comments here. Mitchie Carter, yes, I have all the Richmond 13s, you know it, but appreciate your support. I mean, there's so many really great comments here, and it's not about us, but the community effectively is growing so positively, and so many good things are happening. You know, is it perfect? Is there more things that can be better in the future? Absolutely, but I've already seen a huge transformation in the last 12 months, which is brilliant.
They seem to, Paul, they do it all in-house. At Select, I'm pretty sure they don't engage an external firm. It doesn't look like they're engaging anyone external.
Yep.
It looks like they do it all in-house. You know, as I think we've discussed before, it seems like there's been a significant transition at Select in terms of how they're marketing their business and their products and everything. And
so I will touch on this one, and this ties into something else. Robert, who was a long-standing member of this community, any reason why they don't ship all on the same day? Some people's left Thursday. Mine did not leave until Monday, arrived in Queensland Thursday. Robert, I did flag this after I saw the announcement about them not running express post. My understanding from what I've heard is that everything was shipped out prior to the weekend. There were some technical issues with Australia Post about scans and things like that, because I noticed I was waiting for some stuff myself. My understanding is that everything did go out, and there were logistical issues, and hence why Select have probably made a few decisions to go in different directions. But I can assure you, everything, you know, well, I can't assure you I didn't do it. I don't know. But my understanding is everything went out, and it was probably more a logistical and technical issue from Australia Post. Yeah. And we all know post-COVID, we went through COVID in Australia Post. They are certainly not a perfect business.
And so, Rob, as well, I sort of made some further inquiries with another business that deals with significant batch shipping in that same way and uses Australia Post. And the way they sort of explained it is it's not the way that we as individuals do our postage with Australia Post for registered mail is not the way it's done at a batch level for those type of businesses. And basically, it's almost like things get binned and manifested. Yeah. So they provide like a full manifest to Australia Post. And what happened is Australian Post may turn up and everything's supposed to go out at one shot, and Australia Post picks up the product from these companies' warehouses.
Yep.
And they may turn around and go, well, we've only got 4 bin positions on the back of this truck currently.
Yeah.
So we'll come back for those 2 bins over there in the morning, sort of thing. So I think, I feel like they're probably like most businesses. They're at the mercy of the freight companies, and in this case,
Absolutely.
Australian Post. Yeah.
And
So
Christian,
tough,
just there's something I think we did touch on this the other week. Do you think a good incentive to get more SEC members would be to receive boxes first and have first look? Well, I think there's 2 parts to that. First of all, there was plenty of opportunity for anyone that wanted to be an SEC member, and the key part of that membership was it was priority to buy, not priority to receive. As we've said many times, Select is not Amazon or Kogan. They do a shipping run, they send stuff out.
Yeah.
It all goes out. Logistically, to be timing things at different parts all around the country for SEC and then the main release day is release day. People get it earlier, retailers get it earlier, but yeah, to try to split it up into 2 batches, I imagine would be a phenomenal logistic task. But look, Robert, I see your reply there. I can't comment. As I said, I don't know for sure, but my understanding, the information that I did hear when I loosely spoke to them about it the other week was that. Yeah.
Rob, you've done also.
No, we're not going to keep going. Just leave that alone, right? But look, at the end of the day, it's impossible to, Australia is an incredibly unique country for logistics and freight.
Yeah.
It's expensive. It's difficult. It takes time. Both of us have dealt with that in our own businesses outside this. It's not a perfect system. So again, the improvements seem to be getting put in place. Let's hope they continue to improve that and hope everyone can get their stock as quick as they can.
I wonder if they make further changes moving forward to how they do it. In terms of freight forwarding and stuff like that. And
maybe.
I don't know. I know, like, my experience with the whole Sendle stuff has been really good.
Yeah.
And I generally, I default choose the Sendle.
Yep.
And then goes to like Couriers Please or Star Trek or whoever it is. Yeah. Exactly.
And I use Sendle too.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's just we're not near Select, but we're sort of on their way if they were coming into the city.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether or not that works in our favor a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
With the NBA, Mitch, what is this question you're asking? With the NBA coming, do you think Panini are involved with Select now? I mean, I've got no idea, but that would be awesome. I think, again, if this community is growing to a point where you've got arguably the biggest publisher or producer wanting to put money into a local or domestic market, I mean, that would be amazing.
There was certainly rumors. I remember rumors 3 years ago that Topps was going to buy Select 3 years ago. So I don't know, but certainly the market and the whole hobby on a global level has become a huge, huge industry now. So I don't think it would come as a surprise to anybody at all
at some point
that big major players like Topps and Panini would start to circle companies like Select, Team Coach, and the other one, the NRL guys and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, but I think that it's still so far away from that, in my opinion, just by pure size.
Yeah.
Robbie, therefore I decided those that made the least noise about delivery times this release will get their orders shipped first for supremacy.
So there you go.
Oh, shit, we're in trouble.
Yeah, there you go, Paul. Straight from the horse's mouth.
Yeah. Any ideas on what the next set could be? No idea. It'll be Series 2.
Some sort of Series 2 we're expecting. I think it's fair to say that most Series 2s only last 2 years at a time. So we would expect that it's not going to be dominance.
I hope it's legacy.
How do they do captain signatures again when all 18 teams are being represented? So I'd like to pretty much think we could rule out captain signatures. So therefore, I suppose we all need to start speculating. Do they bring back things from previous sets?
Legacy.
Do we see Hall of Fame signatures? Do we see a set like Legacy number 2 come? I don't know. Do they invent brand new types of big case hits and box hits and stuff like that? Do we see a return of Footy's Finest maybe alternating because they did the influential last year? Do we see patches? I don't know.
If you could name the next series, what would you name it? The Complete Life of Dusty.
Do you know what I would name it?
163 pictures of Dusty. That would be glorious.
I would. The first thing that comes to mind to me, if I was to name a new series, would probably be Pelicanville. Sorry about that.
All right.
Private joke.
If we it'd be great if you'd see the return of the Guernsey redemption. Yeah, absolutely. Who doesn't like those Guernsey and patch signatures?
Yeah.
But then again, if we get supremacy as we all think, we're going to get our fix for that stuff later on.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope it gets supremacy.
I think patch SIGs would be awesome. Like, agreed. Like patch SIGs outside of supremacy and then certified, they're, they don't exist.
So we went off track a little bit there, but certainly exciting times, and Prestige has been an interesting release. Something that Glenn McInerney actually floated to us last night on another stream we were on, and it's probably this might be a good opportunity for you to help give the followers a little bit of guidance about this. But there's been some talk about pricing cards, and the scenario that sort of happened on a forum that I saw yesterday was that someone put up a price. I was tagged in that a few times. My reply was, sorry, bit much for me, but I hope the seller gets their price. That was perceived perhaps as being a little bit negative.
Yeah.
But then Glenn posed the situation the other way, that if a seller goes and puts up a price that is too low, is it the responsibility, let's say we're talking about $100 card, and it's priced at $200, it's too much. But if the seller puts it up at $70 or $50, do the seller need to be morally responsible or ethically, say, well, that's actually a bit cheap?
So I think we probably need to, from my perspective, you need to preface it all with, in life, in everything, buyer beware, seller beware. Do your own research. Don't jump, head first into something that you don't know what you're doing, whether you're selling something or you're buying something. So the first thing is you should probably understand the landscape and what you're doing. And there's plenty of ways to figure out how to determine valuations, or at least rough pre-existing market valuations. However, then it goes beyond that, and it becomes, it's completely subjective, and it would be on a case-by-case basis, both to the individual who's involved in the situation.
Robert, you nailed it. That's exactly the point I'm going to say.
It's the individual, the individuals involved in the situation. Me personally, I don't know. I'd like to think if I do the right thing by people where they may have made a mistake, that will be repaid to me in the future, where someone might look out for me where I might be making a mistake, is the way I look at it. And, my real life example of that is, it happened to me, and I might have recounted the story the other night, like last year, someone had the jumper number Jack Steel dominance card, which I'd been looking for, but I'd still been collecting multiples of the dominance card regardless. Someone hit me up, I've got a card. I think he wanted 300 for it. And I said, 250. He agreed at 250. And then I was like, can you, what number is it? Is it a low number? He goes, yeah, it's number 9. I was like, okay, cool, but what number is it really? Just let me know if it's a low number or not. Because maybe I'm giving you a bit unders if it's a low number. And he goes, yeah, it's number 9. I was like, number 9's the jumper number. Stop messing with me. And he goes, oh shit, I didn't even realize. And at that point, and this person may be on this stream, I don't even know.
Don't say that.
Yeah, I'm not going to. At that point, I was just like, okay, well, I can't just give you 250 for that card anymore. And I had bought the 01 2 days earlier. I told them the price I paid for the 01, and I said, I have to give you the same as what I paid for the 01. I value the card the same. And the person was like, wow, you could have just taken that. I wouldn't know any different. And they would, because they'd find out as soon as I post the card up in my mail day. Like, I don't want to ever feel like I've got a card that's unjustified, that I can't enjoy it. Like, it would almost be tainted to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, sort of thing. So that's just me on a personal level. But if someone else decided that, cool, they got the opportunity to purchase a card, the person didn't realize what it was for cheap, it is what it is. And the counter to my present situation is, a few days ago on eBay, someone listed a 03 low number St Kilda card, which was actually the jumper number, and they didn't realize. And because it was an incorrect listing, I picked it up for very, very cheap. And for me, well, that's too bad. You put it into a really commercial, huge marketplace. You didn't know what you were doing. Unfortunately, that's on you. But if it's on Facebook within a community, I see it as being a little bit different. There's more long-term things at stake there as well.
So I can think of a couple of things that, and kind of what Robert touched on there, is no one knows what the motives of the seller are, whether they might need money quickly, and if it's a $100 card, they're happy to take $50. On the flip side, there's people selling boxes. that people jump down their throat that they're selling a box for $280.
Yeah.
Well, if they've got a $140 box that they want to sell for $280, that's their choice too.
And that's the underlying thing.
Everyone needs to take responsibility for themselves. They need to do their own research and education and see what the market costs are, and then they can make a choice. Good, bad, indifferent, cheap, expensive, fair, whatever they want. And if someone is willing to come and pay that or not buy it, well, that is the open marketplace that we're in.
That's right.
I don't think people should be shamed either way.
Yeah. But I think here's the thing, though. I think because a lot of what's taking place at the moment is foreign to AFL cards, where the resale of stock exceeds the recommended retail. It never used to happen. It's fair to say a year ago, 18 months ago, a product comes out, it never actually sells out, and instead of the price going up of the sealed stock, it gets discounted and goes down online or at retail. And because this is such a foreign thing, I can certainly appreciate and I absolutely acknowledge and understand that there are people who have been around that look at that are very pure hobbyists, which is absolutely their right, and I 100% support that. But they are angered and frustrated that people have come in and moved product sealed at a higher price that they should be paying as a collector. And as I said, I appreciate it, but the biggest underlying thing to me, and I've shifted in my way of thinking over the last couple of years as well. I was probably one of those people that jumped on some of those threads and attacked people for prices and things like that. But I also now acknowledge, and as what you call, we are in a very maturing hobby and a maturing industry that is evolving at the moment, and things are changing.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, whether it's John Smith, Peter Smith, or Andrew Jeffries, each of those people have the right to do whatever they want with their cards, their boxes, their wallets, their computers, whatever it is. That is their right to do what they want with it, and they don't deserve to be berated for it.
You don't have to take part in it.
No. People can be educated, but there's a big difference between giving someone some education that they clearly need because they don't understand what they're getting themselves into, then absolutely berating someone and derailing them, basically, and derailing an opportunity that they have for a sale.
Yeah, and I saw a post the other day, and again, not about me, but someone had posted up a craft card in a batch of cards, and I think you came across this too. You won't say who it is, but I messaged the guy and said, mate, you realise one of those cards there are quite valuable. And he ended up writing back to me and saying, yes, he was fully aware of whatever this guy was up to, whatever. But, I feel like there's huge educational, points and things that you can actually help people with.
Yeah.
You see someone listing something that seems really cheap, shoot them a message. Try to help them out.
Yeah.
Take 2 seconds of your day to try to help someone's education in this community.
Yeah.
It's going to go a long way.
Absolutely. And as I said, I'm the first person to admit I have done it to people. Jacob Mabbott knows how many people I probably did it to a couple of years ago.
Yep.
And again, I evolved my way of thinking. I have changed my outlook, and I constantly evolve. And there's things that I may have done 3 months ago that I've changed my way of thinking.
Absolutely,
as well.
Crispy. Have seen a lot of craft card posts of inexperienced posts, or people
reflective of the market.
But that's it. There's people that have bought Team Coach previously that have no idea about this card world. They suddenly get a premium card they think is worth something. They find their way to what is predominantly select premium card forums.
Correct.
And it's completely overwhelming. They don't know whether the card is worth $50 or it's worth $500.
Yeah.
So I completely agree with that.
And that's it. It's really hard, like what Jarrah says there.
Yeah.
It's really difficult at the moment, Jarrah, to determine the difference between a genuine, I don't know what happened, what came out of this packet when I bought it from the server with my mum, to a full-blown phishing post.
Yeah.
And it's really hard. Like, as administrators of a community page, it's really very hard to define the black and white aspect of what is phishing and what is genuine. And so, it's hard from an administration perspective. I know on our pages, we try and make it really black and white. No price, or if it doesn't have a price, or it doesn't say, for trade or whatever it is, it's got to be removed, like to stop the flood. But I genuinely believe there are people that we've had to remove their posts that they were genuine. They just wanted to
some
find out.
Yep.
They needed some help. And our hope is that people within the community message them in the background or comment them, PM me if you need assistance in understanding what this is. Because what I don't want to see someone in the community taking advantage of someone else in a card craft situation where a kid may get it, or a kid's handed it over to the parent because they don't know what it is. The parent's gone first port of call, Google, Facebook, looked it up, somehow ended up in one of our communities, and someone takes the piss out of them and takes their card craft for $100. And again, it comes back to buyer, seller, beware. What I'd rather see happen is someone go, you know what, you can actually go do some research. I don't even need to quote you a price on what that card's worth. This is how you can go figure it out for yourself.
Yeah, and that's a good point. And I think, again, not only in our community, but, there's plenty of people here in other communities. Again, ask an admin or ask someone that's regularly posting. I think most people, if you reach out to someone and say, hey, you might not know me, but I've got this card, any idea what the value is?
Yeah.
And again, either explains them how they can do some comps on eBay, or say, tell them that, I think that card sold for X.
And it can be daunting. It can be daunting because the first thing, and that's the thing people don't understand. Like, I know when I first came to collecting, I tried to figure out, I pulled out all these cards out of a tub, and they were old DPSs and stuff like that, Pendlebury DPS, all these sorts of things. I jumped on eBay. I didn't even know what completed listings was. I jumped on eBay. I saw, whoa, it's like $500. And then I went and posted the cards up for $500 and copped a huge whack for it. Like, people were like, that's a $150 card. I'm like, and they're like, this is how you reference it. I'm like, but I went and referenced it. And they're like, no, you're looking at the wrong thing here.
No.
So there's education is ongoing. Yeah. And especially as things evolve and technology evolves and the way cards are consumed and collected and the market works, it's going to keep changing.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, Luke's just said eBay sold listings are 130point.com. 130point.com is a great reference, especially in the NBA. And Wade, why do you need to be so logical? I think what you guys are trying to say is just don't be shit. And that could be our new catch.
Just don't be shit.
Just don't be shit.
How about Wado? Card Authority Australia, just don't be shit.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, let's move on. I was going to be here all night. So let's move to our favorite segment, everyone's favorite segment. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I was tracking down a unicorn, and it's taken me a few weeks to get it, but I'm happy to announce today, Andrew reached out to me, it might have been before Christmas, and he was desperate for a Caleb Sarong 2019 Select AFL draft picks. It arrived today. There we go.
There it is.
So this is a very short print card of 66. Can we see it?
Unreal. So AJ1 got the lasso out. He went out into the forest. He was looking for the unicorn. Bang! Got the unicorn around the head.
That's right.
He got him around the horn. Reeled him in. Put him in a top loader.
Yep.
In a sleeve, in a top loader, in a bag, and here it is.
So, Andrew, I will reach out to you. I did send you a message before. I think you work nights. But I have your unicorn here for you. I've managed to do it at, it was certainly a journey, this one. I was involved in this one a little bit more than I usually am. But very happy that we received a card that you have desperately needed in your collection. But that moves on to tonight's unicorn. Now, Jenks warned me that I am setting myself a very tough task.
Very tough task here. This is I know how hard these cards are.
So someone reached out and they were looking for, I believe it's 2017.
2017.
Future Force.
Green.
James Warple signature.
Numbered to only 25, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh.
Numbered to only 25. And it is the Warpedo. Cult following.
Like, it ticks so many boxes that are horrendous here. Numbered to 25. Warple. Not many of these 2017s around. It is, and it's a SIG. Of course, it's a SIG as well. If anyone has one out there, well, probably multiples is what I'm looking for. Someone that has a 2017 Future Force, James Warple, green, signature, number to 25, number doesn't matter. Reach out to us. We've got a very interested or very excited and desperate follower that is looking for that card. The comments are going nuts. I know how hard it is to find.
And it's not Lee. It's not either of those two, but I'm pretty sure both those guys need it as well.
Yeah, and people are saying, can you find two? I mean,
everyone wants that card. They're so rare.
I won't lie to you. Jenks laughed at me. He actually laughed at me before we went on air when I said this is what the unicorn is. So I know this is a true, good old-fashioned unicorn. I'm sure a lot of people out there that are Hawthorn supporters or have one of these cards are laughing at me right at this second.
Christian, if I had control of the mouse right now, I'd be like flashing that comment on the screen right now, but I don't control the comments.
No, so I don't know what you're talking about, Christian. But yeah, we're very much we're trying to track down this card. If anyone has one, we will certainly help facilitate a trade or a sale. We're not paying for it. We're not paying for it. This is going to be
we'll pay for it with our labor.
Yeah,
our labor of love.
This is going to be a big boy card for people to find. So if you do have one out there, please make sure you let us know. As always, you can have a look at all. Oh, Crispy's saying he's got a lot of Future Force Higgins for you, James.
Hey, Crispy,
you guys can talk off
Crispy.
there, right?
I didn't even know what the green Higgins is going to cost me.
All right. Well, but yeah, make sure you head to cardauthority.com.au. You can obviously catch all our shows, all our podcasts, and see the unicorns that we've not only caught, but also still searching for. There's a couple of rippers there. If anyone can help, please get in touch with us.
And Robbie O'Donnell, I definitely next week on the next episode want to go really in depth into the 01 jumper numbers.
Yeah, we kind of ran out of time.
We've run out of time tonight.
But
it's something I really want to talk about because it's super hot thing at the moment that's going on there with the jumper numbers and 01s.
Oh, Lee's saying he knows where one is, but it's in the vault. Well, grab the crowbar, Lee.
Yeah.
All right, so I can throw the lasso over and pull it in.
That's right.
But thank you guys. Look, big show. Thank you, Jenks. Amazing as always.
No, it's been awesome to be in the new headquarters and have everyone on board and just to see the way the community has thrived and how incredible the hobby has been since the release of Prestige. It was the release last year that really brought things right up as well. We thought it would happen again. We have seen the good, the bad, and the indifferent. Emotions have been high, but all in all, I just feel so fortunate, and I think we should all feel so fortunate to be part of this hobby at this point in time. And I think we're all going to look back in the future and go, wow, what a time to have been a part of trading cards and especially AFL cards in Australia.
Absolutely. So, yeah, thank you very much, guys. It's always fun doing this for you. We love being involved with all our ventures with you. And in the words of Wade, just don't be shit.